time has come, everyone. It is August 23rd and tomorrow August 24th, which means that it's Anime NYC plus the Hololive English concert all for one coming right up at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. But here in Watkins Glen, we have a race that is also something of note here. As round 6 of HoloType International 2025, we bring you the all for one 200 minutes at the Glen, the race that will coincide with the all for one concert in New York City. We already done race 1. So let's take a look into how race 2 will shape up. But first of all, let's take a look into the track map of this track. All for one 200 minutes at the Glen, 5.5 kilometers or 3.45 miles of the circuit for everyone to deal with. 11 turns in total. Looking at the race distance, we are only going to be going for a maximum of 46 laps each of the main races, or 250 kilometers. That's the standard length that we are going to approach here. And the lap record, 135.921, shattered because we've already seen a 134.8 from race 1 after the red flag. And we can't wait to see how it looks for race 2, given that it is a bit warmer and drivers are already getting familiar with the track. We'll see faster lap times potentially. So we've already covered race 1 of the event yesterday. This time we'll be covering day 2. And of course, we're going to have the start. We'll kick off with the invitational race 2 that will be coming up, which will be the inverse, which has the grid be the inverse of the first race, first invitational race that is. So Mohamed Reza, who won race 1, will start at the back, and we'll see who starts in pole position when we get there. And for invitational race 2, ETA, of course, this will be when we will be starting the invitational race 2 by around 10:05 in the morning. Anyway, and then after that we will do an immediate move into race 2 by 10:25, as we already have race 1 set the grid for race 2. And this race is more important than ever because race 2 will count towards HoloType International standings. And a note here that the JP class cars may compete and take finishing positions inside of the standings, but they are ineligible to receive in championship points. So if the 2 JP class cars are inside the points, then only 13 of the points positions are to be awarded. And of course, the checkered flag should be at around 12 in the afternoon. The stream ends at around that time to give the drivers an opportunity to head to Radio City Music Hall for the concert. And the other important part, let's take a look into what the championship standings looks like after 5 rounds. And of course, Mohamed Reza currently leads the standings here for Kazuki Bijou. Hopefully that he's able to maintain his spot here up top the standings. Apologies if there has been a slight lag, but we will have to go ahead and as usual. Hazi Yazid second, Liakai third, around with 400 as drivers who scored over for 400 points. Around the 300 points mark, then Evan Sakeda Adachi, Evelyn Kuromi, and Angela Sims, and Nichi Michan alongside Aziz Moazif. Those are drivers who have scored 300 points or more. Those who have scored 200 points around will be Mona Zetaru inside 10, Joshua Zuri 11, Sakura 12, and Javier Lusby 13 for Zeta. Rafael de Oliveira and Ryan Kagawa have already swapped positions, and by that I mean seats. Rafael de Oliveira now goes into the Narissa machine. Ryan Kagawa inside the Rene car. Corey Mendez 15, Tawan Bumin 16 with 176 and 175 points. Hanari Miyuki sits at 17 with 171. Hyuta Asano for Shishimori, 170 points. Headed towards the World Series as well, Hyuta Asano. Sven Jensen and Ahmed Elashor sit 19th and 20th. Nochitaya 21st, the aforementioned Kagawa in 22nd. Alex Gwent 23rd, and Enzio Ferrari 24th. And look what time it is. It's time for the all-for-one races to take place here in New York, and by that I mean specifically race 2. And of course, I'm Mama Shadin Reza in the commentary booth, and alongside me are 2 wonderful people in the VTuber racing organizations in the VTRP. Dak Patterson, the host of the VTRP, and alongside him is his assistant Joshua Zurich joining in for commentary. Hello, and a very good morning to you.
Hello, greetings, salutations, good day, and hi, you guys and gals. A fantastic day at Watkins Glen. I'm sure looking forward to mitigating some concert FOMO with some exciting holotype racing here. Just 4.5 hours away from Radio City Music Hall. It's gonna be a real barn burner, Adak and Chrono.
Absolutely. I just wish we won't deal with as much ibuprofen as I am dealing with right now because I have a headache.
Well, we're probably gonna need a lot of ibuprofen if things get as messy as the first race. But anyways, let's not waste too much time here because we got an invitational race to deal with. We've already had invitational race 1 and that went as well as we had expected. But anyways, we are going to move over into the starting lineup here for the race 2 of the invitational race 2 of the all for one 200 minutes at the Glen. So with that being said, let's take a look into what the starting lineup looks like. So Jeff Rohan, who of course finished last in the invitational race, he didn't even complete a single lap on the invitational, will start on pole position alongside fellow JP class driver Aqua Azuri. Second place for Ozora Subaru. Sven Jensen, who also crashed out early in the invitational, starts third for Iris. Fourth place goes to Alex Grant for Cecilia Immigreen, with Yuta Sano lining up in fifth for Gigi Murin. Expect a lot of auto-fister action for today as well. Rafael de Oliveira stood sixth for Nerissa Ravencroft, trying to prove his mettle as a jailbird. And then we got Evelyn Crowley, who won race 1, the main race 1 for ERB. She will start on pole position for race 2 later on, but for now it's just going to be a warm-up session for her. Leah Kai, who had an amazing comeback from yesterday, will start 8th for Hakos Bales, with Takeda Dachi lining up 9th as one of the surviving drivers in race 1 for Ina. And then Aziz Moisif starts 10th in both Invitational Race 2 and I believe in main race 2, as he was involved in a collision in the Invitational Race, in the main race 1. Misaki Sakura starts 11th as the Zomrat to be in 11th, with Enzo Ferrari 12th for Rara Patera. Tawa Bomin 13th for Fuawa Bisgard will be starting for Fuawa. And Kakori Mendes 14th for Takanashi Kara. It's a Fuamoko 13th and 15th, with Nichi Michan taking up the spot for Mokoko in 15th, Hazias in 16th for Sherry Novella, with Joshua 17th for Mori Calliope. Monazataro, who finished runners-up in the yesterday's invitational race, will start 18th. And of course, the invitational race 1 winner, Mama Shanariza, will start at the back of the field. So, you two, we are about to have the race almost get underway. So what are your thoughts?
Well, first time I am experiencing HoloType prototype racing on ARO. I'm curious to see how it is here. The previous 2 bits of commentary I've had were both with Formula Hololive. I expect some heavy hitting action with these prototype cars. Really high speed and really technical.
Chrono.
Yeah. Dag mentioned heavy hitting. I hope it's more focused on the heavy and less on the hitting.
Well, we can agree on that. We'll want to see more racing action instead of crashes, as we are now set to see these 19 HoloType cars ready to open the day with an invitational race to remember. Jeff Rohan starts on pole position with Aqua Azuri in second. Let's see which of these drivers are able to blink first into turn 1. And we are off, and all of the 19 drivers are able to get off without a hitch. And it looks to me that Aqua Azuri again has a very good launch around the outside. Looks like she'll take the lead into turn 1. So we're going to go free camera in here to see which of these drivers will survive, and it looks like everyone will survive in turn 1. The race director's instructions for them to calm down have now basically resonated around them, as we now get to see some side-by-side battles here. We now have Tawan Booming going side-by-side, Sakura and Kai going side-by-side, Rohan beaten by Aqua Azuri as drivers now come into the inner loop. Aqua Azuri now leads Rohan, Jensen in third, Grant fourth, Asano fifth, De Oliveira sixth, Kuromi seventh, Adachi eighth, Kai ninth, and Misaki Sakura is now off.
Oh no.
Well, she is going to head back to the grave, unfortunately for her, as we still have 18 cars remaining.
as a zombie.
Well, at least she's gonna be back in the dead soon, but for now she's gonna take a break. But anyway, Sven Jensen is gonna try to win for his Oshi Iris, trying to beat Jeff Rohan and Aqua Azuri, but it's gonna be a difficult task here with only 2 laps of racing. Meanwhile, we got Alex Grant already building a gap over Hyuta Asano, so it's still an auto fister full 4 and 5. Rafael de Oliveira keeps the car on the track. 18 cars still remaining in this race. Compared to yesterday, this is an upgrade.
Yeah, what went on yesterday?
Well, collisions, contact, lots of curb hitting, hard curb hitting, car spinning around, crashing, airborne crashes and flips. But we'll talk about that later, as Takeda Adachi now lines up her move down the inside over the race 1 winner from yesterday. As we start the final lap of this invitational race, Adachi now goes down the inside to basically stake her to his place in 7th.
Nice side-by-side action on these first few turns of this track.
And speaking of which, Nishimichi trying to hang around the outside and around turn 3, as Azure now will use the slipstream to see if he can make the move down the inside onto the Ford Mogoko car into the inner loop. It looks to me that that's Nishimichi hitting the curb it too hard, goes off the track. It looks to me that Michan will not continue. And speaking of which, we got Tawan Boomin having an engine failure.
Azura took reaping too hard.
Well, that's one way to put it. But meanwhile, Aquazuri, already controlling the tempo and momentum from 2nd place, takes the lead away from Jeff Rohan. Looks like Aquazuri is going to get her first win in aero competitions, albeit a bit unofficial, as Azuri now will lead the remaining 16 cars in the field to take what should be her first checkered flag in aero competition, albeit not in an official capacity. Aquazuri comes across the final corner to immediately make her mark as the new ultra smart driver that's winning. Aquazuri wins the invitational race 2 of the All for One 200 minutes at the Glen.
Very nice performance in this quick 2-lap sprint from pole by Aqua Azuri.
And speaking of which, if you did see what's going on here, Takeda Adachi has actually managed to beat Hyuta Asano on a photo finish. Beats Asano by about, wait for it, 4 1,000ths of a second. We'll check the replays later, as we'll be congratulating Aquazuri for the win here in the Invitational Race 1 of the All for One 200 minutes at the Glen. Jeff Rohan takes 2nd place for Tokoyami Toa, and Sven Jensen brings home a podium for Iris. We got Alex Grant 4th for Cecilia Emma-Green with Rafael de Oliveira, and Takeda Adachi passing Hyuta Asano on that final lap to take a position away. Hyuta Asano basically disappointed that Autofister was not able to be maintained at that time, as he drops down to 7. Evelyn Karomi in 8th, Leah Kai 9th, and Aziz Mosif rounding out the top 10. Corey Recommenders 11th with Enzo Ferrari 12th. Joshua Zuri in 13th, Chad Rizzo 14th. Does a very good job of trying to climb himself back up the grid. Hazik Yazid 15th, Monozetaro 16th. Tawan Bomi 9th, 17th, having an engine failure early on. Having a parts failure early on in the race, which doesn't help matter. It's a 4 Moko downtime in the invitation. Let's hope they are able to bounce back in the main race. And also Misaki Sakura going back to her grave in 19th place.
Sad bowing intensifies.
Oh, and speaking of which, if you do want to see about Nishimi-chan's incident since lap 1, we will see what happened. So we'll see a replay going on. As you can see here, them exiting turn 3. As you can see here, Michan tries to defend his position, but of course takes the first curve way too hard, slips and slides, and Michan tries to continue, but decides that I'm going to need to basically keep my equipment safe for the next race, so I think that's a bit calculated. As for Tawan Bumi, it's a parts failure for him, and for Misaki Sakura, that's a bit of a not so much of a this one. As you can see here, here's what happened to Sakura.
Stop chicane expected to be challenge for these drivers.
So with that being said, we are just going to also point out how much Shadow Reza has gained as well, because even if you discount the fact that there are retirements, we do want to pay attention though on how he basically gained position at the start. And you can see here, he basically takes advantage of people being cautious, basically makes his move around Zetaro here in the turn 1. And that's not the only highlight though, because he also makes the move onto Hazi Yazid. You see here?
Oh yeah. Very good camera angle.
Alright, so with that being said, we are going to move on into race 2 actually. And instead of it having a qualifying, we are going to go straight on into the race. Just wanted to basically modify a bit of the car files before we proceed with race 2. And speaking of which, we do have a race 2 coming up soon. So that after what we have seen in the Invitational, what are your expectations coming for the basically this main race 2?
It's quite a long distance race, expected to be like 100 minutes around and around on the inner loop, outer loop, and these banked turns. And we've seen some side-by-side action. Gotta watch out especially for the inner loop bus stop after we've seen a couple of challenging moments on this 2-lap warm-up race.
All right. Just wanted to also basically double check on things. Chrono, I'm not sure if you are still here, and I hope you're still here because you're still muted. Okay. We are gonna wait until Chrono comes back. But that being said, we are loading into the main race 2 setting. And after what we have seen in race 1, the drivers are all going to be thinking about just keeping things cool and collected. So basically the aggression levels have been oh, sorry about that. Just wanted to double check on this one. And all right, so basically we are going to tone down the aggression level to around mid-tone before we continue. So the race director has already told basically the drivers after the first races in day 1 to calm themselves down to the point where they cannot make any more crashes. Sure, their amount of racing will be compromised, but at least we want to see a lot of cars finishing the race, not having a massive crash fest that we saw on race 1. This is to basically show to some bit of professionalism and decorum amongst the drivers, and that is to be expected in the organization. And also, so we also want to see
somebody said.
Ooh, Chrono.
As somebody said, to finish first you must finish.
That's right. So with that being said, let's move over into the starting lineup here for the All for One 200 minutes at the Glen. And this time we will be talking about the basically we're going to be talking about the main race 2, which the results have been based on the results of race 1. So Dak, let's cover the top 10 of the starting 10 drivers here first.
All right, starting off in pole, we have Evelyn Kuromi, and then in second, we will have Leah Kai. There she is, third, Mono Zetoro, and joining in that second row is Hinochi Tayo. Row 3, we have the winner of the 2-lap race in Aqua Azuri, alongside Javier Lusby. Mod Shazran Reds and Misaki Sakura make up row 4. And then row 5, we have Aziz Morazif and Nichi Michan.
Chrono, 11 to 20th, please. Don't forget the Autofister jokes.
Or Autofisting in row 6 with Ryota Asano and Alex Grant lining besides each other. Then Jeff Rohan coming in for Tokoyami's guest entry. Then what's this? Aneori Miyuki for the Kobukers in 14. Then Ahmed El Ashur coming in for the Pemalo in 15. Dan Evans, our Australian friend, for the Euphoria at 16. Then Yuri Rafael de Oliveira for the Jailbirds in 17th. Akira Adachi in 18th. Angela Sims in 19th. Joshua Zurid in 20th.
And running out the final 4 spots here, Tawan Bumin for Fuawa Bisgard will start in 21st alongside Enzo Ferrari, who hasn't had a very good season so far for Rara Pantera. Let's hope that the second half of the season will be a momentous occasion for him as he tries to bounce back from 22nd. Ryan Kagawa not having a good time at the moment for the Maratyats in 23rd, and of course Corica Mendes, who barely made a single lap in the race 1, will start last on the grid. Third last on the grid. Sven Jensen 25th for Iris after he got spun in turn 1. Haziyazi not faring any better as he was also involved in the crash at the chicane in 26th place for Shuri Novella. So with that being said, we now have the full 26 car grid at our disposal with 46 laps still to come. This race awards points based on the race 2's finishing results. So I want to know both of your expectations coming into this race 2.
So for my part, people in the back will have a lot to do.
All right, that
quite late in the season, so expect those deep in the standings to push as hard as they can to try to restore some faith and hopefully get a good result right here in this second race. I'm curious to see how things will pan out here in these next 100 minutes.
All right, so we have the second of the 100 minutes coming in here in race 2 of the Watkins Glen 200 minutes, the All for One 200 minutes at the Glen, about to get underway as we are about to basically get ourselves ready and going. And as usual, we will welcome Evelyn Cromie on pole position. Leah Kai with an amazing comeback from race 1. Let's see if she's able to hang on in race 2. And we are go here for the race 2 of the All for One 200 minutes. And again, it's a great start here from those who start on the outside pole, and we might see 3 wide action into turn 1. We've got all of the 26 car now surviving turn 1. No one being spun around, and it's now Leah Kai taking the lead over Evelyn Cromie. Tayu in 3rd place. Morizandere in 4th. Azuri in 5th. Lusby 6th. Southern Reza 7th. Sakura 8th. Wasif 9th. And Nisha Picha rounds out the top 10.
Quick start by one of those drivers from that 2nd or 3rd row. Cutting from one side of the track in the front stretch.
Oh no, that's Leah Kai!
The other. Oh, that is unfortunate. Early on, and again, it's got a bus stop.
And also, we do want to point out that there's another car. Yeah, there's another car who's already crashed Misaki Sakura.
Leah Kai, it's dead. Again,
Sakura having a bad luck this morning.
Well, that's not going to be, there won't be any points for her at this point. Crashing out early in both Invitational Race 2 and Main Race 2. Talk about very bad luck here. But what is not bad luck is that for the remaining 25 cars in this race, Hazik Yazik currently in 24th, and of course, the driver who started 2nd is basically handicapping herself with her spin in the inner loop. And now she's gonna see if she's able to make a comeback from where she is right now as Adachi and Kagawa go side by side.
Quite a few cars going a bit wide there.
And speaking of which, we got Azuri. Aquazuri trying to make a move down the inside onto Mono Zetaro for third place. Javier Lusby still under pressure for Mohamed Shazran Reza in 6th place. Meanwhile, we now have Autofister currently on a pursuit between each other. Asano trying to catch Alex Red. Let's see how it goes.
Both goes Benton, probably.
It may be a Boko's Vinted moment as we might see Miyuki and Rohan going side by side. We saw them actually banging with, and it's Hunter Miyuki being sent into the outside wall at the inner left. They're going side by side with Jeff Rohan, and that's going to be her joining Misaki Sakura on the sidelines.
I knew there was a bit of trouble going on with those two drivers just pushing and shoving side by side just into the bus stop. And then, of course, we saw one car just going out, losing it entirely.
Speaking of which,
that was just brutal there.
Yeah, that's a very heavy hit on the outside wall there for Hunter Miyuki. Might feel concussed, but of course she's going to get checked by the medicals later. But meanwhile, do we have more side-by-sides? Joshua Zurich and Sven Jensen go at it between each other for a 19th place. Jensen trying to make amends from race 1. Meanwhile, Takadashi trying to continue his amazing comeback. Now, he has his eyes set on Tawan Booming for 15th place. Hiroshi Taiyo now has fast lap in the race outright. And also we have Evans and Kagawa trying to go side by side.
Several cars making moves on these turns.
And
really exciting stuff here.
And Wachando Ame trying to make his move around in turn 2. And Angela Sims, though, is actually setting up Elishore very well. I think Elishore's made his move way too early. Angela Sims now has the draft for her to use coming into the bus stop chicane, but she's a bit too far. And that's Ame Elishore overcooking it, trying to get himself back as more drivers go side by side. Evans and Adachi. Alright, it's Evans and Kagawa.
Video is lagging on my end.
I'm fine. I'm fine at my end.
I'm fine as well, although there were some drop frames, but I think we should be good for now. As we now get to see here, Evans trying to go around the outside to make a move against Ryan Kagawa. Ryan Kagawa hangs on that inside line, does very well to maintain his position at the moment. Meanwhile, Aquazuri is chasing Monozetaro, the highest placed EN class driver currently in this race.
Trying to keep up a good momentum from her two-lap sprint win, doing very well here in fourth. Aqua Azuri in her Subaru car.
And speaking of which, remember, just want to remind everyone that Aquazuri actually has acquired 3 of the Ozora Subaru cars in aero competitions and enters it as part of her own team, Shuba Racing Team, Shuba RT as we like to call it. And right now she's making immediate changes for the positives for the Ozora Subaru camp, continuing on the legacy of the Ozora Subaru drivers. As we say that was a great comeback. As more cars go off, we saw that Nichi Michan and Alice Mwazif actually having individual moments there at the bus stop chicane, and both of them were hitting way too hard in the curve. That looks like suspension damage for them. They have now been teleported back into the pits. That's not a bow day for them.
Unlucky for Michan and Mwazif, but very close call by Azif to
in this race
and remain in this race. But Michan and Mwazif again. Bus stop living up to its name and stopping these cars here, and quite a handful of drivers already retired from this race early on, and it's only lap 4.
Yeah, only lap 4, and talk about some carnage already in this race. We saw Hanare Miyuki's massive slam into the outside wall, exiting the inner loop, and now this is very, very unfortunate for the co-worker in question. But what is fortunate is that Hiroshi Taiyo is currently basically in great control of this race, already leading this race by 1 0.6 seconds. Speaking of control, as the viewers here in the stream, you might want to know that this race is based on the Hololive English third concert, All for One, which is due to be hosted in Radio City Music Hall in New York in a few hours' time. So if you want to get some streaming tickets, you can scan the QR code on the bottom right of your screen to get streaming/on-site tickets to the All for One concert, so that you wouldn't miss the idol action coming up. As we see more cars going off, that's Monozetaro.
Oh,
I was gonna say somebody was stalled and time has stopped.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, there's a bit of a shame though for Mono, as he basically becomes another. Oh, that's Sven Jensen as well. Sven Jensen will also join Monozetaro, and it's not a good day for Promise. The Promise is
no hope.
And also the Promise, though, not living up to its expectations, though. As we can see.
There, yeah.
Speaking of which, we do have 19 cars remaining, and I do want to say this though, with the level of institution that we have at the moment, the red flag is not expected to come out anytime soon, but this is actually better than what was there in the race 1, where we had only like 13 to 14 cars remaining. But in this race we have 19, and speaking of racing, we do want to take a look into the strategy that will come into play. We are looking into drivers pitting on lap 25 to 26 at the earliest. Some of it earlier, like Javier Luzpi. Aqua Azuris actually feels very likely and will be due to make her pit stop basically very soon.
Strategies are coming into play here for sure.
As Aqua Azuris tries to...
how they play out. We'll see how they play out.
And speaking of which, Azuri is trying to make use of their lightweight car to make her move against Mohammad Shahid Reza. Shahid Reza almost crumbles under pressure. And he does manage to. We'll see if he's able to get himself back onto the race. But I think that's his first DNF of the season if he doesn't get to continue. And I think he will be going off with... dang it.
Unfortunate for the points leader.
And this does, and talk about being a race of.
It's a hot papaya.
Yep. So talk about a baptism of fire for these drivers. So it's now up for grabs, though, the position of the championship leader here, as Yuta Asano and Jeff Rohan go side by side, and for Asano to at least keep himself in vision to his fellow Autofister teammate, as Jeff Rohan tries to see a move but cannot make pass on Asano.
The Glen being a big challenge for these drivers in these Orekas.
And speaking of which, I do want to point out that Aquazuri finally making her move down into the pits, as she's a bit low on field, so she is likely to make 2 pit stops here. We'll see how fast she's able to carve her way into traffic. And speaking of basically gaps here, let's talk about the championship lead with Shahid Reza out of this race. With Hazik Yazid currently in 2nd, Leah Kai 3rd, Dan Evans in 4th. With Yazid currently running in 16th, Leah Kai outside the points. We are going to be not see any changes in the points so far, as you can see Kawa Gumin and the Sims go side by side. And then we have to go down to Takeda Adachi, who's currently running in 10th, who is 5th in the standings, but he is almost 200 points below the championship leader. So we are going to be, well, Shadreza has to be very lucky, though. That's Leah Kai. Leah Kai with a massive slam. We will need to check the replay on that one. Well,
Man, Promise having bad luck here this morning.
All right, just wanted to...
Yeah, they can't catch a break.
Just wanted to check where Leah Kai... there it is. So if you do want to know what happened to Leah Kai, she did try to go side by side with Hazik Yazid.
Yep, the bus stop chicane. Oh, that first person view crash just... Oh, that is just especially painful from that camera angle.
And speaking of which, we do have more battles to look into. Rafael de Oliveira trying to prove his worth as a jailbird. Tries to make a move round the outside onto Angela Sims. I think he set the move very well, though, now turning the outside line to the inside line as they get back onto the NASCAR short on NASCAR road course here, and Anderson also gets overtaken by Tawan Booming in the process.
Oh, again, some cars going a bit wide.
Well, that is pretty much to be expected here on that penultimate corner here, turn 10 in Watkins Glen. And speaking of gaps here, we do want to point out though, that Aqua Zuri coming into the pits here, we are now seeing Alex Gren be the highest placed EN class driver for Cecilia Evergreen, the Automaton Bruce Raceful.
Really low in the championship standings, like second from the bottom, if not at the very bottom, but performing very well here in fourth at the moment. Expect some big points swings after things are settled here today.
Oh, we saw Tawan Bumindo actually locking up here at that corner, and he's now under pressure from Angela Sims. Angela Sims now tries to make a move down the inside, tries to make a move, tries to spook Tawan Bumin off, but now Tawan Bumin is at the very least being able to keep himself relatively steadfast as he continues to make his way into the circuit here. We got already 1/6 of the race distance already passed, and we still got more racing to go, and that's Aquazuri! Aquazuri's crashed at the bus stop chicane, and we'll see what happened there.
Oh no!
From having a great race one to basically going out like this, that has got to be very unfortunate. We'll see the replay as it happened.
AC giveth, AC taketh away!
And
oh, the duck's quack has been silenced.
Well, Aquazuri isn't going to be shuba-shubaing at this point, but she did at the very least light up the charts earlier on in this race. But here, then again, we still have 16 cars remaining, and there are no calls for a red flag at the moment from the officials. And Alex Grant will be the next driver to come in for his pit stop.
Yeah, no red flag as of yet because there's still some ibuprofen pills left in the bottle. I expect once the bottle has run out, the black marshals will leave the red.
And speaking of which, Hazi Yazid trying to go down the inside onto Coerica Mendez here. He knows that his rivals have already gone down in the dust. Yazid's going to try to use the archives that Shiorin has basically bestowed onto him to try to get some points, to find some maneuvers, to get himself further up the standings. And right now, Yazid's doing it on the track at the moment. Yazid now goes down the inside on the Coerica Mendez. They bang doors! Holy smokes, that go about very close racing. It's too close for comfort between the two. But anyways, Hadi Yazid now trying to make sure that he gets as close as possible to Shazrin. And speaking of Yazid's gap to Shazrin, the difference between the two will be at about less than 100 points. So, realistically speaking, Yazid should try to find at least a 5th place if he wants to take this championship lead away from Shazrin Reza, as Azurit also comes into the pits. I'm not sure if this is a pit stop cycle or something else, but we do need to check back. So here's what happened to Joshua Azurit, and I think this is a mechanical failure for the Mori Calliope car, and we'll see
what is all the hubbub here.
Oh yeah, he lost drive at the chute, and that is him out of the race, and very unfortunate as well, as he is now outside the points. And yep, the curse of Azurit.
ARO Joshua can't catch a break.
Yep, especially in the international rounds in HoloType. That's the third race. That's the third standalone in HoloType international race in a row where Joshua Azurit has encountered problems. Getting involved in a massive crash at Sebring in round 2 is one of them, and then basically being almost out of the question, and then being spun around at Boram is another, and now an engine failure, losing drive at the chute.
Oh,
It's
here we
another thing
go
as Adachi
again with the
and Kagawa go
side by
side by side.
side.
Oh, they're really banging doors. I thought it will end in tragedy here. And then Evans also goes off.
Oh, again on the bus stop.
The spaceship has
So many
crashed.
casualties there, and so much in the way of side-by-side shoving. The HoloType drivers adopting a rubbing is racing mentality a la NASCAR, and it's quite fitting considering that NASCAR does race in this track every year. Albeit the short course, we are racing the long course with the boots.
And speaking of which, I do want to.
The big boy.
Oh, and that's Alex Gwen. Alex Gwen overshoots it at the chute. And that was a massive slam for the automaton
And that, my
driver, and that's
friends,
gonna
is a
send the
breakdown.
CC number 34. The automaton has broken, the machine has broken,
More
and it's gonna be Alex Gwen
ibuprofen.
out. More ibuprofen is needed, yes, correct. As we are going to continue on with this race, only 10 laps is complete, and basically, it looks to me that 12 cars, rather half of the field have already retired. But at the very least, Alex Gwen will be bringing home 4 points, which really isn't saying something. But at the very least, it is a few points.
Still no red flag as of yet. I'm still seeing some sparks flying again.
And talking about drivers who have been very aggressive at the chicane, looks like the race director's instructions aren't being heeded. After all, after all, what can you really say about the drivers about having to back off here? But anyways, we still have 13 cars remaining and around 36 laps to go. We'll see how the remaining 13 drivers go, and we'll see if we will need to necessitate a red flag situation in the coming few laps here. The race directors are currently discussing of the possibilities at the moment, but we'll see how it goes from here.
Yeah,
No,
way
it's
too
not
far off from halfway still. With half of the field basically out of it.
Angela Sims now comes in for
Man,
her
I'm
pit
starting
stop.
to think I'm the problem.
Well, not really. I mean, except in the international standalone rounds, that is. In the World Series, Azurit, of course, does perform very well. I mean, we talk about the Le Mans and the Motegi races, for example, as Tawan Bowman tries to line up a move against De Oliveira into the bus stop.
Two Onesans? Which one wins?
Well, for Eurofar De Oliveira, both wins because he likes it big and curvy, De Oliveira, and
Yeah.
well, take it from me as someone who sees Eurofiles' online activity, and he does favor those with basically big naturals of sorts. But let's not backtrack ourselves at this time, as we'll now get to see Ryota Sado continuing to light up Watkins Glen with a gremlin-like performance here. I mean, before he crashed in race 1, he was running near the top 10, and now Asano is gonna see if he's able to break his way into a podium finish. And mind you, these two drivers, Evelyn Kuromi and Ryota Asano, both of them, and I mean both of them, have made the World CO Series despite missing the Fuji race. So basically, they only attended the Le Mans and Motegi races in HoloType World, and they both made it. Evelyn Kuromi on automatic points, and Ryota Asano by virtue of the wildcard spots, as Enzio Ferrari says the fastest lap of the field.
Wow.
So that just shows you the quality of drivers that we are seeing here between Kuromi and Asano. And also, speaking of which, Kuromi now leads the EN class for basically this race. Tayo and Javier Lusby currently lead 1-2, but we'll see how strategy plays a part in the race dynamic as the race finally calms down from all of the side-by-side action. And speaking of side-by-side action, only basically 3 battles between the second between each other, and that is Evelyn Cromie going off and having sustained massive damage at that number 53. Looks like the race winner's scores has also applied in aero competitions.
Oh, the windshield looks shattered from the inside cockpit view.
But this means Hayuta Sano now is in 3rd place, but look at how much damage this number 53 car has, and you can see, yep, there's a lot of scratches on that right side, and now Cromie is going to be losing a lot of time to Hayuta Sano, and who now takes 3rd place.
Wear and tear.
Yep, exactly. And Hayuta Sano, meanwhile, is currently basically leading this EN class, although he is currently 10 seconds behind Hiroshi Tayo. What are the odds that he might come home with a potential win? Let's take a look back at the race field monitor.
Boat is definitely going Benton here at the Glen. 13 cars remaining, and so it's more wide open, certainly.
Yep, exactly. And if you look into the strategies here for the remaining cars running, looks like they will be pitting no later than, I think, lap 21 to 22 for some of these drivers. Your Rafael de Oliveira, currently running in 6th, is going to be not pitting until at lap 24 at the latest. So we will be seeing some interesting strategies to play. We've already seen drivers basically clumping up their lines at the bus stop chicane, and we've seen drivers basically understeering by carrying too much speed at the chute. So these 2 corners are essentially calamity corners here in this track, Watkins Glen, for the HoloType cars. Speaking of which, we do have more battles to look into. Tawa Booming getting very close though to De Oliveira. Meanwhile, Kagawa and Ferrari getting close to Adachi.
Calm action here, but still anything can happen.
Yep, especially
keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, especially for the Akai, who basically blitzed into the lead early on, but was involved in an accident. So Aquazuri getting out of the car, basically now going out of the track to get her haircut. So good luck to Azuri for the haircut. Hopefully the haircut does look good on you. But anywho, we do have Tawan, Boomin, De Oliveira, Rohan, and Cromie now on a battle for 4th place. Cromie on the defensive end, everyone else on the attack. And we also have oh, never mind, actually do mind. Cromie, Rohan, De Oliveira, and Boomin getting very close to Cromie, who might have some impaired vision on the right, but is still actually maintaining a competitive time, all things considered, despite having the damage.
I must say, Tawan Boomin doing pretty well here in this lap 15 after that crash in the 2-lap sprint.
As Jeff Rohan goes down the inside over Evelyn Cromie. Cromie, you saw, actually going wide at the toe section of the boot. And now coming into the heel section of the boot, Cromie uses the outside line to her advantage to maintain her place in 4th place despite having a damaged car. And Rohan, unsuccessfully making the pass, is going to try to do it again. We'll see how compromised Cromie was in the corner. And you see here the lengths that Rohan has been taking to try to get into the lead as Javier Luzme now makes his way for his pit stop. As Tawan Boomin now goes down the inside onto Takeda Adachi. Into the S section they go. Boomin trying to make a move around the outside onto De Oliveira, but De Oliveira makes it very, very difficult. But I think Boomin has set up the car where he wants it to be as he now tries to go side by side with De Oliveira.
And here we go again.
And actually, never mind that, because both cars have survived.
Okay, that is good news to see.
of which, we do want to point out about Javier Lusby. He has now gone out in 11th place. Remember, while Evelyn Kuromi does have the damage right now, she has yet to serve her pit stop. As we now see Kuromi understeering at the chute, now loses her position against De Oliveira and also Jeff Rohan. And now Tawa Bumin wants to get in on the mix.
Have his own piece of the pie or wondering.
And Takeda Adachi now gets overtaken by Ryan Kagawa in 7th place, already making his move there. There's still Bumin and Kuromi going side by side, almost understeering into the wall there, Kuromi, as she now falls down even further down in the standings.
Yeah, hopefully she'll find a hidden flame to keep alive in this race, despite the damage that she's been suffering.
As Enzo Ferrari, meanwhile, goes down the inside of Takeda Adachi. Ryan Kagawa tries to make a move onto Kuromi. Adachi tries to defend around the outside. I think he has a better run off into the S's, but Enzo Ferrari has the track position. Adachi, meanwhile, has a great run into turn 2. It's literally a back and forth between these two drivers, and it's now going to be a slipstream race between these two, as we'll see how it goes here, coming into the inner loop.
Oh, hold on tight! Oh, this is going to be big.
And Hyuta Sano! Hyuta Sano is out of this race as well! The boat no longer goes minted.
Oh, no!
And here's what happened
Boat has hit a big iceberg.
And, well, that's just Asano hitting the curbs way too hard once again, and now he becomes a victim of the inner loop. The inner loop has essentially caught victim to at least 20 drivers already on basically this weekend alone, and that really says something. Oh, and that is also Speaking of which, we are going to give a bit of a talk here because Takeda Adachi has been involved in a massive collision. We just need to double check.
Oh no!
Just wanted to check though about Adachi and what happened to him. And here's what happened to Adachi. So he's okay right now. And it's not just actually Adachi, because it's actually both Enzo Ferrari and Adachi being involved in the collision. And we'll see what happened on the chicane as we focus on to Asano. Here's what happened.
Both of them broke their pencils.
Ow.
And that's mostly on Enzo Ferrari's end. We haven't really seen it on Adachi. Here's Adachi's onboard. Oh, literally both drivers slamming into each other, and that's a double whammy.
Yeah, just Adachi a victim of the incident in the inner loop.
And speaking of which, Asano, with him already crashing out, he will at the very least guarantee himself 13th place, as the race will have to continue on despite the massive amount of carnage that we are seeing at the moment. Adachi will be credited with a 12th place finish, and given how that's how the championship contenders are currently lining up at the moment, that is really saying something. And then we also have Enzo Ferrari, who is going to be credited with an 11th place. So De Oliveira now comes into the pits as 10 cars remain in this race.
How does this compare to race 1 at around this points?
Well,
with just 10 drivers remaining here. How's that compared to yesterday?
Well, if you compare stuff to yesterday's main race 1, given that the comparable one is on lap 24, I will say that this is at least slightly better because we still have 10 cars remaining. But compared to like race 1, wherein at that time it is actually at around how do we put this? Yes, only like 7 to 6 cars remaining. As Hazik Yazid now sets the fastest lap of this race. Actually, this might be a calculated move though for Yazid, because as drivers basically come down like flies, Hazik Yazid, as long as he stays glued to the track, he's gonna steal a lot of points away, especially from Muhammad Shahid, who have already retired in this race. And Hazik Yazid is going to be in a prime position to take this championship lead away from Shahid Reza if he does get into at least 4th place.
Plenty of wide open space for Yazid to speed along. Certainly getting that fastest lap.
And speaking of which, we do have drivers who have already made the pit stops here. De Oliveira being one of them. So let's take a look into the pit stop charts here. Angel Sims and actually Javier Lusby leads the drivers who have already made at least 1 pit stop. So as far as the net positions are concerned, Lusby might be in the net race lead. Actually, no. Ulrica Mendes is actually in this net race lead. That's what we would have said if he's already made the pit stop, but he's already coming in for his pit stop right now, so he might actually slot in behind Sims and De Oliveira. But for Lusby, he is currently looking for his 2nd HoloType win for the season, despite being a pretty veteran driver. Actually, the oldest in the aero competition, aged between 42 and 43, and despite having a damaged car.
Oh yeah, you can certainly see the stuff on the windshield. Hopefully that will get cleared up in pit lane.
And speaking of which, we do want to point out about Tawan Bumin here. We'll check back onto what happened to Tawan, and unfortunately, I think this is a case of Tawan Bumin also hitting in the curbs way too hard, and we'll see here.
Oh, not again.
Well, it's
not
not
like this.
It's not a very bow day for them in the Watkins Glen racetrack. Things are going to be different in Radio City Music Hall, as Tawan Bumin will be guaranteeing himself a spot in 10th place, as the number 25 will basically be recorded with only a 10th place. So 9 more points positions remaining. Hazik Yazid now currently goes in 8th. Again, the master plan continues to take shape for him.
For a race called All for One, all is slowly becoming.
Oh, and Corey Rico Mendes actually went off, but I think he has found a way to get his engines refired, and he's now back onto the track. And right now, he is back.
Oh, video lag at my end.
Alright, I'm just checking. The drop frames are no longer a thing. My internet has become more stable, so we should be good.
My audio is fine. The video is lagging at my end. Hopefully the situation clears up soon.
And speaking of which, we do have around 9 cars remaining. What a traditional race this has been. At least we have 9 cars remaining by the 20 lap mark, and we haven't actually gotten past the halfway stage in this race. And right now the stewards are currently seriously discussing on whether or not they should call off this race after a certain amount of laps. So as if it does happen, we will need to see when the leader crosses the line and if there are any lap cars currently in the way. And currently it is not going to be the case, as now see Corey Jimenez starting the lap. Nochtayo is actually coming in for her pit stop. Oh, and Oliveira's also gone off as well, but manages to get himself back.
Close call there.
Well, we've seen some close calls, and that is actually less common than those who have basically gone off and have their engine stalled entirely. Jeff Rohan will take this lead here in Watkins Glen after a lot of drivers have actually gone off. So Ryan Kagawa also going up into 2nd place, surviving what has been a pretty big melee so far to bring that Rene machine into 2nd place, trying to prove to the world that he is no pushover after his wavering commitments have basically costed him the Narissa seat to Rafael de Oliveira. So he is going to see if he can have a redemption of a drive here with around over 20 laps complete. So, anyways, as we are going to continue on with this race, Yoshitayo has already exited onto the track. If you look at the pit stop charts, Yoshitayo now leads the field of drivers who have already made their pit stop in this race. And right now she is currently in a potential net race lead at the moment. Evelyn Kurome has yet to make her pit stop. Yoshitayo is moving in very, very quickly. And also we got Ryan Kagawa running in second, Jeff Rohan in first. So the highest EN class driver right now is Evelyn Kurome in third place. And speaking of which, we actually only have 2, 3, 4 EN class cars remaining in this race. As Jeff Rohan.
You.
And now Jeff Rohan coming into the pit. Joining him will be Ryan Kagawa. We'll see if Evelyn Kurome will be making her way into the pit stops as well. And the answer is gonna be no at the moment. So Evelyn Kurome will have her time under the sun once again as the number 53 ERB machine now takes the lead of the All for One 200 minutes at the Glen. And speaking of which, Yoshitayo currently in very, very huge amounts of control so far in this race. She is currently the favorites to win race 2 and to grab the 200 points that the winner will be getting. And remember, Yoshitayo is currently sitting in 21st in the championship at the moment. And then I will be putting in some hypotheticals. If she does get up into 21st place, if you go look at the points, Yoshitayo will jump all the way to 7th place from 21st. Big Witch Hazigazi trying to make way onto Ryan Kagawa to get himself closer to Shazin Reza's championship lead. And right now Kagawa has already made his pit stop. If you look at the pit stops for both of them, all but one have already made their pit stops. Evelyn Kurome has yet to make hers, as she is currently leading the field by only 2 seconds. While Wachato has yet to try to make a move down the inside at the heel. And we are getting some low fuel notifications though for Haziq Yazid and Haziq Yazid and Angela Sims. So they will be the next drivers who will be coming into the pits. So they pitted way too early, so they will be making a move down into the pits to basically top up some fuel once again, as we're now coming into the halfway stage of this 100-minute race circa.
I think I'm gonna step away from the mic, but...
Alright, Doug, alright.
Yeah, I'm
so...
gonna step off.
Alright, so...
Alright, video's still a bit laggy at my end.
Alright, but right now the internet is doing okay. It's now doing okay at the moment. I do have some more drop frames this time, and I am currently connected to the 2.4G. So yeah, so thank you, Chrono, for your commentary stuff. So if you do want to leave at the moment, you can do so. As Evelyn Kurome has been overtaken by Yoshitayo, and remember that Kurome have yet to make a pit stop. So basically, Tayo has taken the lead on merit this time. Just wanted to check here to switch it to the interval standings. De Oliveira has also come in for his pit stop here, and I'm not sure if this is a car issue or something else, but we will check here at the moment. let's see what happens to Rafael de Oliveira, as he is the next driver to DNF. So, yep, this is actually a DNF, and we'll see what happened here. We saw basically the engines fail as well. Here's what happened. Very, very unfortunate. So, speaking of the internet, I saw a bit more drop frames, but I think we should continue on as usual. So your Rafael de Oliveira will be bringing home only the basically 44 points. I just wanted to double check if everything is okay at the moment, because I am checking onto my end and it's still pretty much green.
It looks like it is back to green at my end.
Alright, very good. So anyways, back onto the racing scene. The Interstalio have already built a 2-second lead over Evelyn Cromie, as the race currently has been depleted to only 8 cars remaining. Hazik Yazid, meanwhile, trying to chase Corey Rico Mendez 4-7. And speaking of which, the drivers who haven't had the limelight in race 1 are now seeing the limelight in race 2. Because right now, if you compare these races, only Interstalio, Evelyn Cromie, Javier Lusby, and Jeff Rohan are the ones who basically have been doing well at the moment on both races so far. Ryan Kagawa, Angela Sims, and Corey Jimenez alongside Hazik Yazid are showing up in race 2. So that will be something to pay attention to. And speaking of which, Evelyn Cromie is not going to be making her pit stop until, I am going to double check here, until the next 6 lap. So when she does get herself back onto the race, she will not only have the car repaired, but also have the freshest tires available, as she now gets overtaken by Javier Lusby.
Ooh, good overtake right there.
Well, if you think about her last lap pace of 140 compared to Lusby's 136, I think you may be able to see why. And speaking of which, we do want to point out about the other thing that we do want to talk about. Corey Mendez while trying to catch up to Angela Sims, who is running in 6th at the moment. Hazik Yazid currently keeping his wits about it, despite being the last place car still running on the track. But when there's only 8 cars remaining in this race, that actually says something.
Field more wide open, potentially more opportunities to try to get very fast.
Oh, and that's Javier Lusby though, going off the track, and it looks like he himself has had an off somewhere, because I saw damage on his side, and that means he's going to have a decent amount of damage. Fortunately, he should be able to at least keep up to racing speed. So another issue for him at the moment, as he now drops down to 4th place.
He is visibly slowing down here.
Yep, obviously with a lot of damage at the moment, as Jeff Rohan tries to make a move down the inside onto Cromie at the penultimate corner, and in the final corner, Jeff Rohan makes a bold move down the inside to take 2nd place. And remember, Evelyn Cromie is racing with damage at the moment, so she currently loses a lot of time. You see her last lap, 142.387. So if she needs to make a pit stop, she needs to make it now.
Yes, today, preferably.
Well, exactly, as we now need to focus onto others at the moment. Javier Lusby's speed has now gone down to the point where he now gets overtaken by Ryan Kagawa in 5th. And if you want to see how badly the car is damaged,
oh yeah, most certainly.
especially look at how bent the steering has been. So Lusby is going to have to nurse this car right until a specific end point of this race. And you see how much he's struggling on this right-hand corner here onto the outer loop. And this continues, but still continues to keep going. So he's going to be the mobile chicane at the moment. So right now the stewards are currently contemplating on whether or not to red flag after 30 laps or not. I mean, they might red flag it after 36, depending on how well Javier Lusby is running at the moment.
got trouble with right-hand steering, which is compounded by the fact that there are more right-hand turns here on this circuit than left-hand turns.
That's a key night here. As you can see here, Javier Lusby continues to absolutely struggle to get that car turned to the right. While on the left, he should have no problem. It's just that in the right, he has so much issues because the tires basically locked in way early on the right at this point. And even on the left-hand side, he also seems to struggle. That's mostly due to the amount of damage the car already has. So aerodynamics is already pretty much well impacted as well. But anyways, I just want to point out on another thing. Let's see. Looks like everyone is essentially spread by at least 5 seconds, except for Rico Menes, who is now eyeing up a move against Angela Sims.
Will Mendes do here?
Well, based on his last lap, he isn't catching up to Angela Sims at the moment. Evelyn Cromie is about to make her due pit stop soon, and based on her basically race field model, she has about 3 laps maximum for her to stay out on the track before making her pit stop, and she does lose a decent amount of time to Jeff Rohan, who hasn't had an ARO win since early 2024 when he won after penalties in the 2024 Autopolis 400. If you want to know the background on that race, the then Inagami Coronet driver Sean Pauley basically made a collision with the then Shirakawa driver Richie Rod, and Rod was exiting the pit lane. And Javier Lusby now gets overtaken though by Angela Sims in 5th. Corey Jimenez gets blocked there by Javier Lusby, and that's going to cause trouble for Corey Rico. Corey is not going to be happy about Lusby's action. And Hazik Yazid is 8th. Hazik Yazid dropping down to 8th. We will see what happened to the number 90 machine, as Hazik Yazid was one of the first cars to go out, and we'll see what happened to him. And yep, I think it's the same culprit
again.
So here's what happened. Friendly reminder, have these drivers never touch the curbs again, because if they do, then all this will just happen again. But this will guarantee one thing though, with Hazik Yazid out of the race, Mohammad Shahin Reza actually has been able to maintain his championship lead. I'm not kidding, because with Hazik Yazid only scores 57 points, he will only be about 32 points behind the still championship leader Mohammad Shahin Reza. So the points leaders all are basically coming into trouble with from Shahin Reza to Takeda Adachi, who are 1st and to 5th in the standings, all having issues. Evelyn Cromie, meanwhile, is currently running in 3rd, and what this means is that if she does get into basically stays in 3rd, as she's now getting overtaken by Ryan Kagawa, as Ryan Kagawa now goes up into 3rd. What a ride that has been for him.
Can't see the race at my end at the moment. Looks like you may have minimized your AC on the Discord.
Alright, just wanted to double check again. And right now I'm just gonna change the screen just in case. Alright, so I've changed the stream directly to AC this time. Hopefully you're able to see it. Why isn't Evelyn Cromie coming into the pits? That is currently the question that is currently being asked by the Rosarians at the moment, because right now Cromie at this point has nothing to lose if she does pit, and right now she is not being called into the pits just yet, and she only has 1 lap of fuel remaining. or it may be glitch, but we'll have to wait and see, because Kuromi is not being called into the pit, and right now it is actually harming her at the moment. And if she does lose more time, then it'll be very likely that Cory Mendez will be the best of the EN class drivers. Right, I'm just going to double check here. Stream pause, AC minimize. Okay. Oh dear. I'm just gonna see if I can basically change the projector, and I think I have already switched it to the projector, and I'll need to double check if I need to see some double checks if they're able to see it. Oh, and that's Cory Mendez! That's Cory Mendez going off, and he now slams himself into the outside wall at the chute, and this time he suffered damage. More drivers having issues with their cars. Evelyn Crowley finally comes into the pit, but it is a little too late. We'll have to wait and see. Oh dear. Looks like just a double check if everything's okay. So Evelyn Chrome is gonna take a pretty long time to get her car serviced. Edgeless Sims now goes up into 4th place. Cory Mendez is now still doing very well though in 5th place, already passing Evelyn Kuromi. Still can't tell if everything is okay or not. Because it is currently black on the stream feed. So I'm gonna see if I can let me see if everything is okay. Alright, so Javier Lusby is now pretty much a crawling car at the moment, but he is at least stopping, basically being very slow at the right times. Looks like there might be a red flag after all, as he now essentially blocks some of the cars and he now gets back into some kind of respectable racing speed. Oh, and that's another slam into the wall. That's not gonna help the car. He is gonna still continue on. Looks like the stewards are discussing on whether or not we should red flag this race and call it after a few laps here, as he now goes crawling down, but it's not enough to force him to be teleported back into the pits. Right, so right now Dak is currently in the dark with nothing to be seen. Right, so just wanted to double check here. I'm not sure if they can see the screen here, and I'm not really at the mood to stop the stream at the moment, so okay, so they say the stream is still running at the, let's see here. Alright, so we are gonna be paying attention on to Javier Lusby's car at the moment, who is currently crawling down, and right now the stewards are currently deliberating on whether or not to end this race early. And it looks to me that the race directors are going to make a decision soon. So right now the stewards will be making a final decision in minutes. Looks like it will be a red flag of the race, and the race will not be resumed, as Javier Lusby continues to have some massive issues here, and he's still currently causing a lot of issues to the other cars on track, and still stays out there. So we will see how it will be for, well, for the rest of the field here. So looks like, yep. So, if you haven't seen the announcement in the comments, at least the YouTube comments, the race is going to be red flag after 37 laps. So by the time, so ever 2014, Swing failed to start. Hang on. All right, so. Yup, Discord is being broken at the moment. I can't share my screen. Alright, so just wanted to remind everyone once again, the race will stop after 37 laps. That is after the race leader crosses the line. And right now we do want to pay attention to where Evelyn Kuromi is as the last driver on the lead lap. Javier Lusby is still pretty sluggish but continues to try to bring himself into racing speed. So Evelyn Kuromi is going to be chasing the pack here. So with the positions not changing anytime soon, unless Jeff Rojas has anything to say about it. Because right now the race has essentially been cut down to basically cut down by 9 laps. So we will see here Jeff Rohan actually gaining on Hyunch Tayo by 4 seconds. So we will pay attention to how this race will develop for them, because Jeff Rohan will see if he can try to bring home bring home the win as an invitational driver. Haji Yazid currently already out of this race. He is essentially in 8th at the has going to be credited with an 8th place finish. As for the rest of the field, we will check on the performances of Rohan as he now continues to pile on the pressure on Hinoshi Tayu. So Javier Lusby is now finally out. Javier Lusby is finally out. Looks like the stewards are gonna be discussing once again onto what to do with this race. But I think it will still be a case of and I think it is Angela Sim that essentially, oh, never mind. Oh no, it's actually Angela Sims slamming onto the side of Holusby, forcing him out of the race. And that at the very least will prevent any issues with basically him at the moment. So that will remain with 6 cars. But I think the stewards' decision will stand, and the race will still be red flag after 37 laps. Alright, so we still have basically 3 laps of racing to go. 3 laps of racing. Alright, So, and now we are going to be seeing the battle between a member who's not scheduled to perform in the All For One concert, and one who will actually be scheduled to perform in the All For One concert as a guest driver. And speaking of which, there is only two EN cars remaining, and that is essentially Corey Mendez and Evelyn Kuromi. Corey Mendez doing very well for Takanashi Kiara, and if you do know about Takanashi Kiara, she is essentially the center member in the All For One music video at the start. And Jeff Rohan has made the pass on to Hinochi Tayo. Oh man, apologies if we actually missed the pass, but if you do want to know what happened, let's take a look at the replay. So I think this is a case of Jeff Rohan actually having a very great run though off of the chute, and them now going side by side at basically at the sole part of the circuit. And I think if you see here, Hinochi Tayo actually understeered into the chute, which actually gave the Jeff Rohan a good run to put himself into the race lead. And what a move that was for Jeff Rohan, and it looks to me that this will be Jeff Rohan's race for the taking. Alright. So, as we still try to fix the gremlins of the commentary and all that stuff due to Discord being messed up at the moment, Jeff Rohan will now lead lap 35 as we now start lap 36. Jeff Rohan now is going to see if he can get his first win since Hololive TT3. Back at Autopolis, where he basically won off the track after penalties. But this time he will see that if he can try to win it on the track after making the pass onto Hinochi Tayo, and now he leads by already 1 second. No EN class cars on the top 3 at the moment. Evelyn Kuromi down in 6th. Corey Mendez in 5th. Javier Luzmi now properly out of this race. Jeff Rohan will be coming home as a winner to remember, despite being a guest. At least it's the effort that counts, that's true. Ryan Kagawa doing an amazing comeback to try to overcome adversity. He will bring home a podium for Pavone Arene. Well, we also have Angela Sims, who now outperforms Leah Kai in this race and on points as well. So the fight continues to heat up between the two, and Angela Sims almost loses the car as we say that, but she manages to keep it on the track. So all she needs to do is to focus until 37 laps have been completed. So when lap 38 starts, that's when the checker flag will drop, although of course I will not show it. Corey Mendez currently running in his best race since the Le Mans Split B race. He's gonna try to bring himself into a good position. Evelyn Kuromi continues to bring home unlikely results for the ERB team. And that is also something to be celebrated as well. And just wanted to point out that Aquazuri is not in the running for the, well, no longer in the running in this race, so only second place to 15th place will be counted. Jeff Rohan will be taking, or, well, oh, damn, Hinochi Tayo. Forgot about Hinochi Tayo. So Hinochi Tayo getting second place will also mean that Tayo will now go up into 8th place in the HoloType International standings. And also joining, Angela Sims goes up into 3rd, Evelyn Kuromi up to 4th, Nichi Michano, Javier Luzmi now goes up into 9th place. And also, Ryan Kagawa going up from outside the top 20 to 18th place, trying to chase Euro Rafael de Oliveira. Alex Grant and Enzo Ferrari trade places in 23rd and 24th. Sven Jensen stays in 21st. Amel Lachaux drops to 22nd. And speaking of which, with 38.7 laps already passed, since we've actually missed the count here, we're gonna add one more lap. Lap 38 will be the final lap, so we just wanted to make it official here, as we still haven't had changes in the standings here. So Jeff Rohan already, so they might be a bit mad here, but apologies here, but at this point we just wanted to finish off this race with something to note, and with Jeff Rohan, with the points, with the positions remaining relatively unchanged, Jeff Rohan is gonna see if he's gonna see himself basically stay ahead for as long as he can. When he completes lap 38, he will be listed as the winner of the race 2 of the all-for-one 200 minutes at the Glen. He will be his first on-track win in ARO competition, his second for Tokyo Mitoa in ARO competitions, his first win since January 2024, if I'm not mistaken. It's a long drought, but it's a drought that is gonna finally end here as he now completes 38 laps. Jeff Rohan for Tokyo Mitoa, the Kenzokus, are gonna be winning the 200 minutes at the Glen. Well, the all-for-one 200 minutes at the Glen, race 2. Nochitayo will guarantee second place at the very least. Ryan Kagawa will be on for a pretty interesting comeback run as the Rainy Machine goes up into third place. So Ryan Kagawa now goes into third place, his best finish in his debut outings for Pavolia Arena. Angela Sims will be in line to finish fourth. Eureka Mendes will be the EN class winner for race 2 at the very least. And Evelyn Kuromi will at least bring home 6 to aid their championship hopes. Eureka Mendes will be in the midfield battle as he will now cross the line in 5th place. And with that being said, we will officially make this race official. Alright, with that being said, we will officially end this race. And before we'd like to end this race, we will also need to take a look into the results. And by that we are going to try to essentially put something into the screen here, just to get something here. So we are going to only consider the result of this race after 38 laps. So we are just going to essentially do something here. Let me just update on the screen. And we will do some adjustments here. Okay, the internet is All right, so I'm just going to take some time to process the results. Wait, where is the... Ah, there it is. All right, so that being said, well, let's take a look into the results here for the All for One 200 minutes at the Glen Race 2. So if you do want to see what it looks like. So Jeff Rohan takes the checkered flag over Hinochi Tayo in second place. Ryan Kagawa will finish in third place as well for Pavolia Arena. So Jeff Rohan takes his first win for Tokoyami Towa since January 2024. February. And Hinochi Tayo takes second for Hoshinova Muna. It's never Hinover. Angela Sims fourth. Rico Mendez, the highest placed EN class car, would take the EN class win for Takahashi Kiara. Evelyn Cromie finishes sixth as the last remaining car running in this race for ERB. Harvey Lusby seventh. Haziyazi eighth. Not enough to displace Neressa's championship lead. Rafael de Oliveira's first outing for Neressa ends up in the top 10. And for Tawan Booming, he at least stays in 10th. Yuta Sano 11th with Takeda Adachi 12th. Enzio Ferrari 13th, Dan Evans 14th, and Alex Grant in 15th place. Wait a second. Just wanted to double check. Yuta Asano actually finishes in 11th. Takeda Adachi finishes in 12th. And 13th place goes to Enzio Ferrari. Alright, so a bit of an update here. So Alex Grant 14th, Dan Evans 14th. Wow. Alex Grant in 15th. Just wanted to double check because we might see drivers retiring in the same lap. And moving on into the drivers outside the points, Joshua Zurit, Aqua Azuri, Leah Kai, Mohamed Shadin Reza, and Mono Zetaro from 16th to 20th. Sven Jensen 21st, Nichi Michan 22nd, Aziz Muasif 23rd, Ahmed Elashor 24th, Hanari Miyuki 25th, and Misaki Saka, who haven't even completed a single lap, will be in 26th place. Alright, so with that being said, we will move on into the championship standings here, as I'm also going to basically save the replay. So after basically 6 rounds in the HoloType International, this is what it is going to look like. And here, and as we expected, Mohamed Reza maintains the championship lead over Hazik Yazid in second. Angela Sims now moves up into third place for Angela Sims. Evelyn Cromie, with her great results, will now move up into fourth. And then we got fifth as well, Hakos Bills, Leah Kai, now dropping down a bit, slightly in the standings. Dan Evans and Takeda Adachi stay in 6th and 7th. Hinochi Tayo, after that podium finish, will go up into 8th place. Javier Lusby stays inside the top 10 by virtue of him finishing inside the top 10. And then Mokoko, this Nichi Michan, stays inside the top 10 despite not scoring points. Same goes for Aziz Mose and Monozetaro in 11th and 12th. Corey Mendes leapfrogs drivers into 13th place for Takanashi Kiara. Joshua Zurich falls down even further in the standings, now down into 14th. Rafael de Oliveira in 15th now, after scoring a few points for Nerissa. 16th place, Misaki Sakura drops down a bit further in the standings. 17th place, Tawan Bumin gains a few points. It finally breaks his non-point streak. 18th place will be Pavel Arenas' Ryan Kagawa, now inside the top 20 for the first time. Yuta Sano now stays inside the top 20 barely by him finishing in 11th place, at least credited by the race results. Hanari Miyuki, Sven Jensen, and Ella Shore continue to fall down the standings, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. with Enzo Ferrari 23rd and Alex Grant in 24th. So with that being said, that should be it from our end. Apologies if there's too many crashes still on our end. We did try to fix the issues in Watkins Glen, but that still hasn't come to be. But anyways, we hope you still enjoy the stream no less. And speaking of the VTRP, the VTuber Racing Project, go to their channel because tomorrow at around 10 a.m. Eastern, we will be seeing the final rounds of the VTF Pro Championships. Basically, the third and fourth tier of indie VTubing, and with these titles up for grabs and a spot at the Indy 500 later in the year. Well, maybe next year, but we'll talk about that later. We'll hope that you're able to tune into Dax's VTRP series on tomorrow morning as well. We hope you're able to tune in on that, and I hope you will be able to also enjoy some other indie VTuber racing action to come on their end. And as for the All for One 200 minutes at the Glen, before we properly end the stream, we'd like to do one more plug for the All for One concert. And of course, the concert is it will be done at Radio City Music Hall. Days 1 and 2 will be coming in thick and fast in the next 6 hours or so. And if you do want to get some streaming tickets at the very least, or on-site tickets if you're already in New York, you can try to scan the QR code on the top right of your screen so that you'll be able to watch the All for One concert coming up in the next few hours. With that being said, I'm Mama Reza in the commentary booth, and alongside me were Dag and Chrono. But thanks to Discord, they had to disconnect early. Thanks for that. And we'll see you in Radio City Music Hall, if we do get to see you, for the actual All for One concert. We'll see you in the concert if we do see you. And as for ARO competitions, next week is the Formula Hololive Japan CEO Zako Cup, first round of the season, and it will be hosted in let me just check the calendar and see if we can see what round it is. It's the Okayama Grand Prix, and we hope everyone will be tuning into that as well. With that being said, that should be all from us. My name is Mama in the commentary booth, and alongside me was Dag and Chrono. We'll see you in either the next stream, the Okayama Grand Prix stream next week, next weekend, or in the concert. We'll see you whenever we see you, and take care, everyone.